Thank you very much. I would like to call upon Zach Olo. Zach, it's your turn. Thank you very much. Zach, as we all know, is the architect of this project. Thanks, Zach.
Thank you very much. The Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi, Mr. Gitonga, on behalf of the Cabinet Secretary, Youth, Sport and the Arts, Chairman Kenya Rugby Union, Mr. Jeff Gangler, Chairman Rugby Patron Society, who was supposed to be here, Mr. Mike Rabar, but I noticed he's not here. But we also have the CEC of Sport from Nairobi County, Mr. Brian Malama. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm greatly honored by your presence here tonight for the launch of what I hope is a king and seminal work in sports literature in Kenya and the region. It is probably an understatement to say that it was about time we chronicled our sport history as a country and within the rugby community that comprises this, the country's fastest growing spectator sport. Much inspiration for completing this book came from Yuval Noah Harari's blockbuster bestseller, Sapiens. And I quote a germane line: "Nobody, least of all humans themselves, had any inkling that their descendants would one day walk on the moon, split the atom, fathom the genetic code, and write history books." He refers to early Homo sapiens, and I am today happy to lift the curtain of silence that has prevailed over our game for a century plus. In discussing this book with me, Max Muniafu made the powerful statement that perhaps the most important aspect of this publication is that it opens the floodgates for the rugby and indeed the sports community in Kenya to publish their story. When this happens, I shall rest a happy man, and I dare to say that the games will never be the same. My address tonight is in the main, and at the risk of repetition, an acknowledgement of folks who made this book possible, and of whom I shall mention a few, if I may. The late Richard Mukava gave birth to the idea and gave me the structure and some beautiful prose. Richard Njoba sat with me on many an occasion and provided treasure trove of material. Besa Lunga Omolo provided an inexhaustible pictorial contribution. Tom Okech, Chris Jenga, Ted Kabetu, Dave Evans, for their cooperation and sharing valuable material they held. John Speedy Akatsa, who I have not seen here tonight for some reason. Oh, hi John. Are you okay? Are you okay, mate? Okay. All right, thank you. For the stories and anecdotes over a beer in various locations, and for producing the reclusive legend, Jackson Omaido, in person, in Nairobi. Amazing. Arigi Obiero? Oh, Jackson. Hi, Jackson. You okay, mate? Good to see you. Asante. Arigi Obiero provided a glorious photographic statement and much humor. More than 40 legends of the game spared time to share a self-profile for inclusion in the book. At the high table, there is the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, who was a fearsome flanker in his days, but always the gentleman. I was going to take a poke at the Honorable Ababu Namwamba, but I can see he's not here tonight. Nevertheless, he does display the guile and build to make a very disruptive scrum half. Unfortunately for the high table team, they do not have a past or potential hooker today and are therefore incomplete. I would be remiss if I failed to mention some of the senior rugby legends that are here tonight. I was going to start with Dick Evans. Unfortunately, he was unable to make it, but as many of you know, he was a Nondi stalwart, played for East African Tuskers, Scorpions, Captain Kenya, and who has behind the scenes, offered great support to the game. Harvey McLean wasn't able to make it, was also Nondi's East Africa Scorpions and Kenya captain, and I understand Harvey turns 97 this year. Is that confirmed? And that's truly amazing. So he was not able to make it, but I'd like to recognize him. We have here George Kariuki, played for Impala, chairman, East Africa, Scorpions, Lord knows what else, and as he's been chairman of KRFU and chairman of RFUA, among other things. He's also president of this club. So George, asante sana. We have Mahanja Mike Andrews. I wonder how many people remember Mahanja. Played for Impala. At times he called himself Makadara Mike. Played for Impala RFC, Central Province, East Africa, Scorpions, Kenya Regiment. He also captained Kenya in 1969. If I have not mentioned you, it merely means that you're not old enough. Nothing to do with your rugby. It was not possible in one volume to cover the full story of rugby in Kenya. And already the previews have brought to light the fact that much important history has been left out, with particular reference to prep schools who have yielded many great players but did not receive mention. Perhaps the most embarrassing aspect of this is those rugby legends who, for one reason or another, have not been mentioned in the book, and to whom I offer my unreserved apologies. Even a speed rewrite after Christmas did not do the job. On the other hand, are those folks who were approached but were unwilling or failed to provide material for the book. That is curable in the future. It was also very difficult to get history from clubs, and it became evident that there is little in the form of historical records maintained at most clubs. Sadly, even the foremost club that boasts a rugby museum was unwilling to share their own history with this writer. To all I say that Rugby Fraternity has already agreed to a second edition, and material is already seeping in. As a matter of interest, the best ever Kenya and World 15s in the book was selected by a panel of a dozen or so, and it is noteworthy that the millennial greats of all times have missed out in many a position. But that probably reflects the age group of the selection panel and nothing more. A word for the administrators and gatekeepers of the game, both here in numbers. A recent rugby think tank concluded as follows: the game is not about players. Coaches, officials, or sponsors. Kenya is at the cusp of going and must go professional or watch the game atrophy. The professional game is about spectators, the audience that enjoys and pays for the game, and after whom sponsors drool. Players, coaches, officials are the team that lay on an experience for the spectator. They are the product. If players want preeminence, they will stick to the amateur game, which is played for enjoyment and for glory. This sentiment is not popular in many quarters, but must be looked straight in the face if Kenya Rugby is to follow the footsteps of the greater rugby nations who have already walked the path. In terms of funding, everyone must play their part, including the government, Mr. Prime Cabinet Secretary. The KRU must do its bit, Mr. Jeff Gangler. Whatever it takes to court and bring back the sponsors to the game. I think this was emphasized by the Cabinet Secretary, Sport, at the last meeting with KRU. I am obliged to stop there with the immortal caution from Hezekiah Bovinity to writers ringing in my ears. And he said, if you demand our attention for more than 5 minutes, go write a book. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I now have the privilege to invite the Mr. Gitonga, who represents the CS Sport, Honorable Ababu Namwamba tonight, to give his keynote address. Mr. Gitonga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olo. our chief guest of honor, Honorable Chief Cabinet Secretary Honorable Musali Mudavadi, Mr. Zach Olo, author of the 100 Years of Rugby in Kenya, Chairman and the entire board of Kenya Rugby Union, rugby fans, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening once more. First of all, I'd like to bring the apologies of Waziri. He was unable to join us here today. He is having other busy schedules, but he requested that I come and read his speech. And also he said that he's part of you, and he has given his greetings. Do you receive them? And now, my single and only duty, now that I've been sent as a messenger, I should not give long stories. One chief guest, allow me to read Waziri's message, and then we proceed. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me profound pleasure to preside over the launch of one of the greatest written achievements in the sports space, and specifically the first ever book on rugby in our country, titled 100 Years of Rugby in Kenya. The book documents the story of the rugby sport in Kenya, tracing the birth, initial growth stages, and current development strides attained. This gives our youth and rugby followers an opportunity to learn. Gives an opportunity to learn from history, where the game of rugby has come from. The book also covers some of the greatest moments, the biggest and the greatest games of all time, and the greatest names, legends of sport, and their achievements in the sport of rugby. Rugby heroes and heroines who have contributed immensely in placing Kenya on the world map, they are clearly shown here. This is the first book of this kind in East and probably Africa north of Limpopo and south of Sahara. It marks a very important milestone in Kenya literature of sports. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to truly and most sincerely congratulate the author of this meticulous script, Mr. Zach Olo, for the hard work, the commitment, and the insight of coming up with this wonderful publication. The book will serve as a vital reference on matters rugby in Kenya. It will supplement rugby administrators' efforts in planning for future development programs, drawing from the benefit of history. The youthful rugby enthusiasts can now trace and read about our past exploits in rugby sevens, the history of the Watembezi, the Simbas, and also that one of our Lioness who have all achieved great feats for this great country. This way, we can remember and strive to revive our dwindling fortunes in the sport. It is my sincere hope that the current crop of players can draw inspiration from the book towards achieving even greater feats. Ladies and gentlemen, this book is a manifestation of serious research work from records of the development of the game through the last 100 years. High-end photos, insights from my interviews with the legends of the game, snippets of articles
I can tell you that there are moments when you are emotional. It could be a funeral, it could be a wedding, it could be a convergence of family after many years. But I can tell you, when I walked in and I saw all these faces, shook hands of some very important people in the game of rugby, including Zach Olo, or as he was once called by a certain teacher, Zach Ulu, when we were in Nairobi school, I truly, truly felt a moment of emotion. Never do you come across such a moment where people who have built an institution, built the game, get together in this kind of gathering. It is amazing. Zach, pongezi sana. It is very touching. I can see people here. Some tackled me. Others had batted the other. Others sidestepped. I think others body checked. And others sent people to hospital. Omaido, I'm not talking about you. Just in case you may think I'm singling you out. But at the end of the day, the rugby has brought us together. And this is a great contribution, not only in terms of in terms of the literary aspect of it, but also in terms of promoting the sports. I think this, Zach, unless I'm wrong, opens the way for somebody to do something similar on hockey. I remember the Rihals of this world. I think even Akatsa was one of them. I remember people like Akich, Chris Otambo, the late. There could be somebody again who could focus on hockey and bring out that as well. Then there's soccer. I don't know if there's anybody who has done anything close to what you have done, but on soccer. Netball for the ladies. So you have opened the floodgates, if I may put it that way, and an opportunity for people to say something about sports in this country, even in the legendary area where we are strong as a country in terms of athletics. I don't know whether you can get something that mirrors what Zach has done in the name of rugby. So there's a big opportunity here. And if I'm not wrong, was there a Camel Derby? I don't know who was behind it. There used to be the Camel Derby. So we have an opportunity to say something and to talk about our sports. So I'm here just to really encourage and say I'll be hanging around with my book so that Zach can autograph it. And then I can have an opportunity to say jambo to these very good people. And my memories will be excellent. If you see a tear rolling down, please understand. It's really a truly emotional moment. Rugby has all sorts of memories. I've not looked at the book in detail, but I remember how Kenyans put together Miro, the Miro team or the Miro squad, which defeated Blackheath, and all the side steps and the good moves that you'd ever think about was seen on that day. and of course the younger people who came much later and have made us proud, particularly in the sevens and so forth. I really say that this is really a tribute to the sports of this country. And it also now begins to send a message that we need to do more as a government and try and look at sports more than ever before as a source of livelihood and a source of revenue for the country. So this, I think, is a moment for us to really develop that. Now, I'll conclude by saying that if you think that rugby does not contribute to politics, then you are wrong. I'll tell you what. Rugby has taught me to tackle law when you have to tackle law. It has taught me to headbutt when you have to headbutt. It has taught me to run when you have to run. It has also taught me to sidestep when you have to sidestep. Let me tell you, all those skills learned here teach you something that if you enter into politics, you will not survive if you cannot headbutt, if you cannot sidestep, if you cannot tackle law, and if you cannot run. All these things come together. In politics, in life, in business, there has to be a moment when you reflect on all those attributes that I've pointed out. And really, tonight, Zach, you have brought us together, all of us, and many others who may be watching from other quarters. You have really brought us together, and you have elevated the issue of sports to another level. Congratulations. God bless you. God bless all these good people. I know some of you are now feeling the effects of the rugby. Over the years, Munya, does your leg, how is your knee? Because somewhere along the line, I'm sure all of us have had some battering here and there. I normally play a bit of golf with the first African prefect in Nairobi school. And in the process, he sometimes has a problem walking, and he tells you, let me take a breather. And you can see his knees are getting wobbly. I'm sure it was the rugby. That is the after effect of rugby. So, ladies and gentlemen, the school was Nairobi School. Those of you who went to Lenana and other places, I don't know where you are going. But I'm here to say congratulations and to say asante sana to be part of you this evening, and we hope we can interact again. Asante sana and congrats, my friend.
Very well said. Thank you very much, Honorable Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi. That was a very inspiring speech. Before I call Ambassador Dennis Awori to say a word of, to give us a vote of thanks, I'd just like to, I don't think I mentioned this in sufficient depth. There's one gentleman who's here who has worked harder than anybody else that I know behind the scene to keep rugby going. And that's Mr. John Lloyd. John, are you able to stand? Thank you very much. We owe a lot. We owe a lot to John Lloyd. And for some reason, I think he was top of the mind and it popped out. Thank you very much, John. Ambassador Awori.
Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, Prime Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Getonga, representing the Cabinet Secretary for Please allow me my 2 cents. And my 2 cents are that rugby is more than a sport. Rugby is a way of life. Through rugby, we became men. And lately, other through rugby, we developed great networks. Through rugby, some of us got our first jobs. Through rugby, we got to see the world. Through rugby, we met cool chicks, or we call them dames. Through rugby, we also found wives. All of you. Through rugby, we got to learn to handle pain. I could go on all night about what we learned from rugby. Rugby in Kenya has been truly, as I said, a way of life. And I congratulate Zach for having captured all this and put it in what I believe will be the first of many books about this great game. So the first person I must thank is Zach for the job you've done. Congratulations and well done. The second person I must thank is obviously our chief guest today, otherwise known as Phantom, or at home, Fandom. That was his playing name. Then I must thank the older among us who provided their memories and the material to set the ball rolling. And among these are, of course, John Lloyd. Thank you, John. Mahanja Mike, the first serious DJ in Kenya. Annie Mitchell, until today I don't know. Annie, were you faster than Speedy J, or you don't think so? Kati Kati, okay. And then of course there are later legends that came and have provided a lot of material and assistance to Zach in putting this book together. You are so very many. I mean, you know, Giacomido, Agre Chabeda, I see Owino, I see Dan Kimoro, I see Richard Njoba. No, Edwin, not you, brother. But thank you all very much. You know yourselves. You really have done, did assist Zach a lot. This job took 1 year of a lot of hard work and a lot of fact checking. Because, you know, Kenya is a very litigious society. So if you say something wrong about somebody, you know what will happen. And then, of course, I must thank the publisher for his patience, for his assistance in helping Zach put this together. So, Bwana Odwor, thank you very, very much. But above all else, I must thank a very, very patient and special lady, Dr. Jane. I wish she was here for us. She is here. Please stand up and take a bow. Zach's wife. Not just for the time when he was putting this book together, but for the time when he was playing rugby and being a total nuisance at home. And Zach's son Ramogi, he didn't come. what a pity. We all saw Ramogi when he was born. We saw Ramogi grow up to be a fine young man, and I believe he also provided a lot of support. So thank you to the family for the support you gave Zach. And then to all of us, for loving this game and participating in it and doing so much, not just for the game, but yeah, for the country, as you've heard from the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Sport does have a role to play, and rugby a very special one. So thank you all very, very much. And now we're allowed to mingle and drink like rugby players, but no singing, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was the last of the speeches, but definitely not the last of the events this evening. Coming up next is the moment I believe that everybody has been waiting for, a moment that everybody has been looking forward to. We will shortly be unveiling the book, 100 Years of Rugby in Kenya. And for this unveil, I will request the following individuals to be a part of the tape cutting ceremony, if for lack of a better word, or is it book opening? But I will call upon the representative for the Cabinet Secretary of Sport, Gerald Gitonga. I will call upon Ambassador Dennis Awori. I will call upon RFUA President George Kariuki, the President of the Kenya Rugby Union, Odwar Gangla. I will call upon a representative from the Rugby Patron Society. We'll call upon the author, Zach Olo, and lastly, His Excellency, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Musalia Mudavadi, to be part of the official book launch. So if we can make our way to this particular point. So this is the moment that we have been waiting for, and let us celebrate it. And our apologies, we forgot Mrs. Olo. This is officially launched. 100 years of rugby in Kenya. And if you haven't gotten your copy, still available for sale within the room. And after that, I will call upon members of the fourth estate for a quick photo session and then a book signing. I will call upon the author, Zach Olo, and our chief guest this evening, Prime Cabinet Secretary, His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi, to make their way back to the high table for a book signing. of the lunch, I'd like to call upon Zach Olo to stand still. I know the excitement of the book launch is probably getting to you. Before we sit down, I'll call upon Brian Muhammad, the CEC for Sport Nairobi County, to have a photo opportunity with Zach Olo. Remember, sport in the county cannot go on without the contribution of Brian Blama, Honorable Brian Blama, CEC for Sport. And after this session, we'll have another session for photography later on. And we do have an opportunity for you to get your signed copy of the book at the desk. The man of the night, the man of the moment, Zach Olo, will be here to append his signature to this historic book, 100 Years of Rugby in Kenya. And as we come to the close of tonight's events, I'd like again to call upon Ambassador Dennis Awori to give us the vote of thanks. Well, I was operating on remote control, and you know, in big crowds it does happen. Well, the evening, I guess, has come to a close. It is now time for the book signing. In the meantime, we can make merry. Food and drink is available. Thank you very much, my seniors. My name is Michael Kwambo. I've been your MC this evening. Thank you.